Good morning. Good morning. How is everyone doing today? Let me get everything else set up here. Okay, get that going. Pre-market plans. Alrighty. Good morning, everyone. How we doing? Hopefully everyone had a great little break there felt like forever, full week. Didn't really miss much though. Jumping right back into the chop. Taking a look at, well, we had this previous day in London Gap. It almost went up and filled. I'm going to leave that level. Go ahead and mark the low of that level. Just a second here. Excuse me. So 623.14 is going to be a draw shorter term. I think my mic should be fine. And then we're looking for a move either down to 618.76 or a move up to 622.83. That is the inside bar stat that we'll be taking a look at. I'll pull up the edgeful here. Gotta get some music going in the background. Excuse me. Okay. Good morning. Good morning. How are we doing? Looking at inside bar stat for Qs, and that's what we're trading at right now. We're currently looking at a 620.8, and then all the way down to either 620.8 is where we're trading for midpoint, and then we have up to either 622.85, which is what I'm going to be targeting today. We will make alterations depending on what price gives us, and then we have down 618.67. And that is a 75% likelihood. And this all, I'll cover this throughout the stream today as well. These all coincide with the targets that I have for either looking at a long bias or short bias in terms of the inside bar stat as well. Log me out on accident. So I'll be looking for a break of previous day's range, preferably up or down. I don't know what's going on with my headset today. I don't have any audio on it. Hopefully it's picking up on the right mic. Let's see. Oh, it is not. Sorry about that. Hopefully that is not too bad. There we go. That's much better. Sorry about that. I was picking up on the wrong mic. I probably sound terrible there. I had it on my webcam mic instead of the JLab mic that I usually use. All right. Good morning, Zoo, Patrick, Full of Diamond, Bull Nuts. How you doing? Bull, how you doing? So that's what I'm going to be looking for on Qs is going to be a break of previous day's range. And then London 50 hasn't really been working all that well for the past couple of weeks. Just a quick review of what we had for it yesterday. I won't even have the previous day's 50 on there. London 50 was that range from, it was pretty much previous day's 50 was London 50, 622.88 down to 618.93. Had terrible reactions at it both ways. That 620.91, we had one reaction to close. That was it. The IB from yesterday, absolutely beautiful. We had a perfect retracement near perfect retracement, I should add, up to 50%. And then we had a push all the way down to the IB low. And I did get a question about this quite a bit yesterday. The IB high was made first. And this was for Monday. And this is actually a new stat that was added in from edgeful. I absolutely love it. But I'll go to all days because this doesn't have enough data quite yet. So 71.43%. This was 68% yesterday for the likelihood that we went and took that low. And that was sitting at, the midpoint was at 621, just about 620.91. We had a push up 621.67. I was down, I think, 200 on this, and this was because I was trading this on Apex evals. But the reason that I was targeting the low, and quite a few people ended up missing this yesterday, it made a new low by like 3 cents. The first candle made the low at 619.11, and then it went all the way up and made a new high. So people are targeting the high break. It was pretty tricky to see unless you were watching it real time, but this wick right here, 619.05 versus 619.11, new wick low by 6 cents. If you just look at the chart like this, it kind of looks like it made equal lows, or it might have even made the same slightly lower low on the first candle. So you're targeting the high. It looked like it was going up to the high. That was not the case. It made a new low, and then it also lined up with SPY, which is kind of a double confluence I've been adding in to taking this trade. So we need to see SPY line up with Qs. If they do not line up, probably not going to take the trade. Main reason, last week we had that same thing happen on Tuesday. Qs ended up taking a new low. SPY did not, and this is Tuesday last week. And then it ended up dragging Qs all the way to the high break. I took a loss on this. I think it was 218, maybe a little bit more, maybe a little less. Getting right back over to Qs though. Previous day's 50 right there. And the London 50 right there. And I don't believe we have any data. The only news that we really have going on right now is CME increasing the requirements for margin on silver and gold. I think it's mainly silver, but gold got altered a little tiny bit. And the main reason behind this, let me pull up Lucid Trading here real quick. So the main reason behind silver getting its positions updated, if you go and take a look at where silver was trading 6 months ago, and go down to, I don't think I can add a 24-hour time frame on here, can I? Just go to the daily. If you go look at where silver was trading even in June, October, I'm going to go all the way back to April because that's the more realistic read. Silver was pretty much trading sub 35 for 5 years. Past 6 months, 7 months, we've had a move from 30 all the way up to 85 or 84. This is still the same ticks in regards to playing $25 per cent move, which wasn't too bad. It was still a lot when I was trading sub 35, but now you're talking about something that's trading all the way up at 82, 83. So they altered the margin requirement. They increased it, and it makes sense. It's not trading at $30 anymore. It's trading all the way up at 75 right now. So just over 200%. Actually, 150% gain from that. Not quite 200. So it makes perfect sense why it needs the margin increase. And that correlated over to the drop that we had yesterday on gold and silver, that 10% drop, gold at a 5% drop. And silver is now we just took a look at it yesterday. Silver is now the second or third most valuable asset in the world. Goes gold, NVDA, silver. So the margin requirement increase makes perfect sense. If they hadn't increased it, then you'd have people trading $2,000 accounts that will get just demolished within seconds. If we go and look at a 15-minute move on this especially, or even a shorter time frame. Like this one candle, this is when they increased the margin requirement over the weekend. And then the Fed also pumped money in to help some kind of bank, an unknown bank. So a 15-minute 4-point drop, it's $5,000 per one silver contract per point. So that's a $22,500 candle on one contract, which is quite ridiculous. So that's the main reason we had a little bump in the road yesterday on gold. What I'd be looking at for Qs today, or M and Q for psych levels, we just have 25.7 and then 25.8 to the upside. That's about it. 25.6 we didn't quite hit yesterday. We had 25.650. So 25.6 will be a psych level to the downside. I just won't be expecting a move down there. We will be trading on Apex today because I already maxed out Lucid and I already maxed out Lucid and my Tradify accounts. So we'll be copy trading on these 8. I know it's going to look rather nasty compared to the Project X platform, but it is what it is. Good morning, Amir. Shahid. Good morning. Shahid probably butchered that. I think this is, I need to get down to 16 because I have 8 contracts, and that will be 2 in Q at 16. Probably not going to be looking to take a trade into open. I believe we do have, I think we do have some data. We have 9:45 PMI. So probably not going to be taking a trade into open. Tomorrow I will not be live. We have a half day on New Year's Eve. New Year's Day I will not be live. The market's closed. And then Friday I'll be live in the morning. But we have PMI at 9:45 today. So that will have hopefully a volatile move, and then that will put some movement in, or some range into today, I hope. I'd like to see preferably up to 622.81 and higher, because we didn't quite hit that 623.15 gap from yesterday. And that is the previous day in London gap. We need to get a move up to and through that level, fill that gap, and that gap will no longer be a draw. Either way, we have pretty much no gap right now. With this 0.7%, these almost always fill. Go to gap fill by size on Qs. First bracket, these, regardless if it's a gap up or gap down, these almost always fill. 71% versus 85%. We have a 71% chance of filling this to the upside. So that will be an almost immediate pop into open. And that will push us pretty much right to previous day's 50. And as you can see, that's where we were stuck for the last 2-3 hours pre-market. And once we hit that level, we have the inside bar stat that is telling us we should go to previous day's high or previous day's low with a 75% chance on that, 75% likelihood. So I'll be looking for a little pop, maybe reject. We'll see from there. That will be the gap fill stat fulfilled. So you want to see up. I personally am leaning either today or tomorrow. We're going to fill up to 622 and then 623.15. It's rather disappointing that it takes this many days to make that move. And I do want to cover this again because we were talking about this quite a bit yesterday. In terms of passing accounts, so how fast to pass 50K, 25K accounts, it's completely dependent, 100% dependent on what the market is doing. So I'm not going to pass, yesterday is a great example of it. I'm not going to go and pass a 50K, 100K, 150K, even a 25K account yesterday. we had a 80-point range on the initial bounce, which I had 4 MNQ on it. I sized up a little too much. And I flipped my day from negative 140 to plus 150. And even if the full TP hit, I'd be plus 250 or plus 300 on the day. So it's dependent on what the market's doing. It's not, oh, I'm going to go and buy a 25K, I'm going to pass it today, or I'm going to buy a 50K account, pass it today. You need movement in the market. It's going to take however long it's going to take. If we look at the past 2 weeks of trading, and obviously it was Christmas into New Year's, we have had repeat. I mean, the smallest one we had was on Wednesday last week, given it was a half day. We've had repeat sub $100 range or 100-point ranges, not $100, sub 100-point ranges on the initial balance range for 2 weeks now. Yesterday was 80 points, and this is talking about half of it, not talking about the full range, because you're probably not going to catch the full range break. That would be entering all the way up here at 622.70 and then targeting down to, oh no, 619 is probably not likely that you're going to get that whole range break. So just looking at half the range, yesterday we had 80 points. Friday last week we had 60 points, which Friday worked perfectly as well. We had an initial bounce high form first, low formed second, so we were targeting the low break, and then it trended towards it, took all the way until that 8 p.m. close, still did not break it. And this is something else I'm going to add in after this little rant. So 70-point range, 80-point range yesterday. We had a 40-point range on Wednesday before Christmas. We had a 60-point range again on Tuesday last week. We had a 50-point range on Monday last week. Friday was probably one of the better ones. Friday, December 19th, we had a 120-point range. That was pretty nice. And then it went right back to 70 to 80-point ranges. And then you can see when you can capitalize on the market is when it's making these 400 to 800-point swings, like it was December 11th all the way through to kind of the 15th. Not really. The 15th, we didn't really make that big of a move, but it was still a pretty nice range on the IB. It's dependent on what you're doing in terms of how the market's moving. It's not, you're not going to get anything off of price action like what we've had for the past 2 weeks. What you can get is $50 to $150 to $200 in that range. Same thing for, and this is when I had the 25K evals on Lucid. I'll pull this up. Let me pull up Lucid Trading. The win rate's not all that good on this account, but I don't really care. It's still getting payouts. So if I go to what we had for, there you go, I'll just pull up the full thing. What we had in terms of price action, I funded the account on 12/11. The account itself, I bought on like November 28th, I think, or Tuesday, November 25th. I had maybe 2 good trading days, and then you can see we had 8 consecutive doji candles. Well, not consecutive. We had 1 good trading day thrown in the mix, but we had one on December 1st all the way until December 11th when I funded it. But December 11th was a fill up to that 629 level, and then we dropped like 400 points, something crazy. We had to push up overnight 400 points, then we dropped 400 points, and then we retraced it back up. It was an 800-point swing that we had, and that's why it was my most profitable trading day at 1,300. But you can see price action we've got since 12/19, pretty much the same thing. We did have one good day. I missed this Friday. I missed the move up on that Friday, unfortunately. But for the last 5 trading days, including today, we've had no movement. We had no movement from December 1st, and this is just talking about Qs. No movement from December 1st to December 10th. And then we started capitalizing on movement when it made this nice range down. Again, 800 points on that Thursday. December 11th, another 800 points on Friday, December 12th. And that started slowing down quite a bit, and now we're right back to nasty chop. So you're gonna pass the eval or the funded account. You're gonna pass it when you pass it. There's no rush on it. There's no reason to, oh, I'm gonna go and pass it today, regardless of what price action I'm given. I'm gonna pass it when I'm gonna pass it. What's going on, Bob? Good morning. Diesel, Hawk, Terrence, Zoo, how you doing? Sorry you missed the stream yesterday, Zoo. Aleo is in gold shorts right now. Not really much else. Are we expecting chop today? Unfortunately, so. I'm expecting a pop up to like 620.90. That will fulfill this gap fill stat. So 71% versus 85%, regardless of the gap up or gap down. I'm looking for a pop up to 620.90 right into open. We have PMI at 945. And then we have that inside bar stat that I'm going to be looking for a break of, either up to 622.80 or down to 618.90. That will be yesterday's range broken. Does anyone have a code for 90% off Apex? If anyone does, then drop it in chat. I do not have one. I just use the save now code. Oh, Bitcoin's getting a nice move up. Does that mean MSCR is sitting at 156? Absolutely no move. Never mind. We'll see if I have the 21 cash cleared puts open on TSLA. We'll see if we get a sign on those this week. We need just to move back up to yesterday's range high, which I think will be likely as well on that. I only have 100 shares, or I actually have no position on that right now. I'm just trying to get a sign on it. All right, let's catch up to some comments here. Sorry I missed all these. I was on a little tangent there. Mr. Zinc's been putting everyone on those 25K accounts lately. The 25K accounts are, especially the ones on Apex, even though they have trailing intraday drawdown, these are definitely some of the better ones in the prop space right now. But the 25K Lucid accounts, beautiful. I love them. Can you share your overnight session strategies on gold? So gold, this will be a little tricky because I do not have, I don't have a feed on here. What I do on gold overnight, so there's two things. Trend break on gold, it works pretty well. I do the same thing on M&Q. Or if we're trending, gold does not like reversing on itself. If gold is pushing up or sideways, if it's pushing sideways like this, there's no reason to trade it. I'm not going to go right in at 6 or whatever it might be and try to long or short it. I did take a long last night, 2 nights ago, not last night. Pretty much right at open because we had a pretty nasty divergence with silver. I was trying to see if gold would catch up or if silver would come down. I thought silver was going to be the one that kept pushing. It was not. But regardless of what ticker it is, anytime a stock is trending in a direction, and I say this as I should have probably sold on bull while it was trending down. Anytime a stock's trending, it has an 80% chance to continue doing so. Only 20% of the time does it reverse on itself. So if gold's trending up overnight, I'm going to look for pullbacks to go long into. vice versa, if it's trending down, I'm going to look for pullbacks to the upside to go short into. So that's why I do on gold overnight. And it's usually just 1 to 2 MGC. There's no reason to go heavy on it. Yesterday, I missed the entire move down because I locked out after I made 120, which I'm probably about to do right now as well. How do you draw these levels? These ones are from the, I'm assuming you're talking about the IB levels. These ones are from edgeful. This is an indicator that comes with edgeful. Make NQ great again. Yeah, for real. Yesterday was a nasty range. We still got a really nice play on it with the IB break. I didn't hold it for the full thing because we had a like 70, whatever the size candle was. This candle was 25757 all the way down to 25675. I didn't hold it for the full thing. I think I sold at 25690, but it was like a 70-point drop. I could not secure on that drop. Gap fill size is a little bit bigger, but it's still within that first bracket. 0.19% is the high. So I'm still expecting it to fill up to that gap pretty much right into open. Not going to play it. That's just what I'm expecting. And then outside of that, what I will be playing is the inside bar fill or inside bar stat fulfillment. So looking for a move up to either 622.85 or a move down to 618.74. And we're open now. So we should get that gap fill pretty much right into open. That was quick, huh? I don't think it quite took it there, but it just about did. Close from yesterday was, looking at the 1545 candle, close from yesterday was 620.88. This candle just got up to 620.79, so we missed it by 7 cents. I'll leave it on there for a little bit. That was a pretty good read, though. Go long right off the bat. What am I missing here? I'm new here. What are the reports? What are one of the reports you're using for the morning trade? I use the inside bar stat. The gap fill is the first one I usually look at, which we just about fulfilled. And then the inside bar stat. Not going to be playing it today because we have that 9:45 PMI data. So I won't be taking a trade on the opening candle, and then that 9:45 candle will have hopefully a decent size wick on that. So we're not super range bound today again. Are you expecting chop today? Yes, I think I already answered that. What was your IB entry that you posted on X yesterday directly off IB50? Yeah, I got in a little early. Anyone know how to get the trade report or trade recap on Apex or Trade-of-8? I don't know where my past trades are in here, but my entry was, oh, that's so unfortunate. It doesn't show older sessions. That's sad. Where's the reports? That doesn't. Oh, I got it. Yeah, I saw it. I see it. Position history. Yesterday. There we go. Oh, that's all it shows. That's performance. Yesterday, go. Okay, there we go. So yeah, my entry was I had one at 714 and then 740. Sorry, 721 then 740. So it was pretty much right at the first entry I had. I might have too many lines in the chart here. I entered just before the IB50, so I think it was right there. And then the second entry I had was just above the IB50, so it kind of averaged out a little bit. It was 2 and 2, so I had 4 M&Q total. I was down like 200 when it was at 621.70, and then I was up 250 or 300. It was up 300 at the bottom of that wick, but the entry was right off 50%. And then for today, thank you for that, by the way, Steve. I did not know that's how you go and get. So I ended up 161. What is that? 261 minus 108. 153 on the day. I can think. Well, it takes a minute to load up, huh? All right, we're still. I think we just took it 620.80. We missed it by 8 cents. Should still go and take that gap fill. Did you get anything this morning, Steve? Did you get your 50? That's okay. ES weaker than SPY. Oh, that's disgusting. They're completely opposite right now. It's going to be okay. They're going to even out later into the day. I don't think for the past 2 weeks I've seen ES get pulled up by Qs. It's always been the other opposing side. Qs has always gotten dragged down by ES. Yeah, we didn't quite get that gap fill. Just seeing stuff. That's the very, very tiny IB indicator. That little green dot, or little blue dots right there. For the 5 minute, we formed the low first and then the high, I think. Yes, because we took out a slightly new high, 620.80. That's probably going to go and take a new low right now. We didn't get the gap fill stat. We almost did. We got very, very close. We got a rejection off of previous day's 50, which would have been a good entry. But where are we not doing, Steve? Yes. I did overtrade a little bit last night. I managed to get my 120 on Lucid. I'm actually going to remember to go and lock that out right now. I got a little greedy on it, and I was up 115. I was like, I want 200 today, and then I ended up going negative 50. I crawled my way back to 120 with the trend, of course. That wasn't a great trading session. Yeah, it would have right off previous day's 50 and slightly off London 50. We have pretty significant data in 7 minutes. Just keep that in mind. PMI. And it's all the way down to 40. That's not very good. So that will probably come in as a slightly bearish take. Hopefully not, but might. 620.20. I'll pull up SPY. Just be careful with that. SPY is looking a little bit better now, but I already dragged SPY, or I dragged Qs down with it, not SPY. Oh man, I cannot wait for these. Oh, we already ended last week, but I cannot wait for this holiday season to be over. In terms of the market, I love the holidays, but I want to get back to regular price action. Please and thank you. I'm telling you, gold is a cursed ticker during New York session. At least he wasn't risking anything on it, but that 403.78, oh, terrible. Good short entry too. That screenshot you sent me yesterday, Steve, of the Apex email that you got, the MAE, whatever that is, all over social media now. It's better than not saying anything and let people get to the payouts and then be like, yeah, sorry. Yep. But it does make perfect sense why they did it, because of they probably should have made an announcement for it. Same for most brokerages. The margin requirement got increased. So like the 25K accounts, they let you trade up to 4, but you can only trade, I think, 2 now. And then 50K accounts, you can still trade 4 because you have enough margin, but it's pushing it real close. I'll actually pull it up. Let me see what Webull has for it, because Webull's usually pretty accurate for what CME has overall. I got a futures trade. I find it pretty odd that most firms also don't have the micro available. All right, silver. It's not. There we go, silver main. So you need, for one contract on silver, you need $5,500. That's a micro on silver, actually. So if I wanted to go and trade it on Webull, if I wanted to trade one SI contract, it'd be $55,000. That's overnight. So for what most people are trading it, that 6 p.m. open. If you were trading it during New York session, you only need 8,200. Only need 8,250 to trade a silver contract. Still really bad. Anyway, that you see why they're not letting you trade it during Globex Open, or just trade silver in general. We have 3 minutes until PMI. PMI is expected to come in with a beat of 4 or 3.7. So we might have a decent push up off of that if it comes in line. They're estimating a beat, which is good. We're at 88,000 right now. What's going on, Eddie? How you doing? Glitz, how you doing? Minute 50. Starting to get a decent range on this break. Overall bias is slightly bearish right now. I don't really have enough time in the market to tell quite yet. Seems like ES is stronger now. Well, they're about the same. ES definitely did pull Qs down. Qs is all the way up at 620.80, and ES was red, right where it was right now. 30 seconds until PMI. We're either going to flush right to that previous day's low, which I say flush, it's only $1.10 drop, or we're going to pivot and go right back up to 622. This 623.14 is going to be a draw for a little bit until we go and fill that gap, this previous day in London gap. And PMI is coming out right now. Let's see, I'll actually pull up Lucid to see what it came out at. I don't know. I think I got sidetracked and forgot to lock out of this. No, I did. I locked out. So we came in at PMI. Not on here? Huh. It's not even on this report. It's interesting. Looking at the right day, right? December 30th. Huh. I'm assuming it probably came in bearish. Let me see Twitter. I gotta pull up Twitter on a different tab now just because it's dangerous what videos you might see on there. It's all Stranger Things, and I got a whole bunch of that Anthony Joshua video, which is crazy that that's even posted online. Thank you. PMI came in at 43.5, beat by 3.5 on the estimate. Beat by 4 on that estimate. Where'd you get that, Sam? Is that Financial Juice? That Financial Juice look a little bit different. I don't know which that one is. Thank you. Well, this had an estimate of 40. Yours had an estimate of 39.5. Either way, it is bearish at the moment. We have the IB high form first on SPY, IB low form second. So we will be targeting the low. We're slightly bullish on the overall daily bias right now, but 67% neutral. And this is very Christmas tree. Apple's bullish, Amazon bullish, Avgo bearish, Costco bullish, so on and so forth. QQQ says bullish, SPY says bullish right now as well. So we might reverse back up. We have more than enough time to take a trade. It will likely just be the IB trade today. I'm probably not going to touch London 50 or previous day's 50. Not because I don't have faith in them, I suppose. Yesterday it would have worked if I had flipped the position. Just because they haven't really been working out that well. So I'm going to give them a break for a little bit. I'm just going to analyze to see if they continue to work or if they just have a rough week because of low liquidity. But for right now, we're just going to watch and we're going to take the IB trade because that one should hold up regardless. Our current range, our current IB range is only, our high is 733 and our low is 673. We're looking at a 60-point range in the IB right now, which is pretty bad. We still haven't gotten that gap fill stat, which is what I want to see. 620.90, 620.88, sorry. So we had another 80-cent push if we get lucky. But right now, this is just your typical day in the market with New Year's on Thursday and Christmas last week. There you go. That happens. What did I say about scalping? Here comes a gap fill finally. We're also about to make a new IBI, so it's going to flip what we're looking for today. You can take the IB trade, or you can just go for another $8. There's the gap fill right there. I just saw that hit 0.00%. We missed it by a penny, actually. There we go. It said 0. Actually went green there for a minute. So gaps filled, we hit 620.89. Gap from yesterday was 620.88. So that is the gap fill stat fulfilled, finally. Even though we almost took it out right at open. That is now actually updated already. So 74%, this was 71. It's on SPY. Q's, never mind, I was looking at it wrong. Scratch that. We formed a new IB high, so now what we want to see, move down to IB 50 and then up. Still want to see 622 today. What news is that? We just had PMI. We just had PMI come out. That was a really good long entry, Steve. There's nothing wrong with that. It happens. I can't believe I recovered my whole little mess up on Tradeify last night. Now I just need to continue that momentum. So we are looking at this stat on the Qs. Go over to a Tuesday. So 83%. This one's actually overdue a loss, it looks like. Let's see what happens if we put in above midpoint. 83% still. So this one is a little tricky. It looks like it's overdue a loss because the stats are 8% over. Got lucky on the average. There you go, funny guy. Lovely. PMI isn't tomorrow. No, it came out 9:45. That's the reason for this push up. What bow do I have in the back? It is a bear archery. This one right here. That's my bear archery. I don't remember the year. I got it secondhand for like $100. Still does the job though. Do we have a full day tomorrow? No, the market closes at 1. And then futures do not reopen until 5 o'clock on Thursday, New Year's Day. So the market is closed tomorrow at 1 o'clock, and then the market does not reopen until the stock market closed all the way until Friday after 1 o'clock tomorrow. Futures market reopens at 6 o'clock. Glopex open on Thursday, but it will be closed. You will not be able to take any trades from 1 o'clock until 6 o'clock on Thursday. 1 o'clock Wednesday to 6 o'clock Thursday. SPY also went and took a new high, which is nice. So these line up. The only thing I don't like is that the average on this is 73%, and this is sitting at 83 right now, or 74%. And this is sitting at 83. So this is over 8%. We are due a loss on this to have a reversion back down to the mean. No problem, funny guy. What's going on, Wyatt? How you doing? Maddie, how you doing? If we can get a closure over previous day's 50, I might be inclined to take a long up to previous day's high. That is going to be my target once we get an IB break. We have still 30 minutes to go in the IB. It feels, man, this day is just not going fast. This is crawling right now. So slow. Anyone else miss the $3 candles as much as I do? The $3 opening candles that makes the IB 150 points and then have a nice continuation. I don't know the last day that we got one of those. I forgot where I was going to go. I was going to go take a look at something. I had something written down on my phone. I wanted to share, but I don't remember what it was. All right, we definitely should be going up towards that 623 for today. I had a really good read into pre-market, just did not capitalize on these moves, which is okay. I'm not too bothered by that. That was a really nice sweep of London low with the closure that we had. I think probably would have been stopped out. Actually, London low I didn't update. So that first candle actually closed right on London low. Either way, I probably wouldn't have taken it. PMI. But we have a really nice established IB now, so we just want to pull back to 50% of it, which is all the way down to London 50 and previous days 50. I will say I don't like that this is sitting at 83%. It's the only thing that I'm not keen on for today, but we do have this inside bar stat, which should get fulfilled. So that should drive it up, even though it is due a loss. Oh, MSTR, that's what I was going to look at. The MSTR and bull. We're at 89,000 on Bitcoin. MSTR isn't as up as much as it should be, I feel. What was my ad? I think I got more shares at, 420 is what I got for Phil yesterday. I thought I had lower than that. So I want to see this for an entry. We're going to be targeting up to 622.90 because that will be the previous day's high taken. So either way, we should proceed up there. I just need an entry into taking that move. 5 minute would have worked out perfectly at previous day's 50. I don't know if Roland's in here. He probably took that. Roland. Oh, there he is. Roland, perfect timing. Did you take that 5-minute entry? 620.79 for previous day's 50, because that 5-minute had a really nice retest and then push. I missed London low, but that was data. I wouldn't have taken it. No, I just woke up. Shame. Waiting for 10 p.m. H4 candle, small retracement, and then very likely long. Yep. I'm waiting for a retracement down to previous day's 50 and then long. Ideally, we got IB 50 and then shoot up. SPY is also within yesterday's range. SPY needs up to 689.20 or down to 686.08. Actually, scratch that. SPY's is a lot higher. It's right at previous day's 50 right now. I didn't see that wick from 4 a.m. yesterday. Either way, we're waiting for a pullback. The IB still has 30 minutes left, so I'm not going to take it anytime soon. We have another at least 23 minutes to go until we take that entry. We could take a long over previous day's high. We could take a long at previous day's 50. We could take a long at London high and target up to previous day's high. Could take a long at previous day's 50, target up to previous day's high. That's a pretty large candle for us to take an entry on. It will be 2MNQ today because we are pretty range bound at the moment. Low. What did it do? You got your 50? So, 82 on the day. You better lock that out. Man, I can't wait to be trading on 20 accounts like that. Just aim for 50 to 80 bucks. 30 days in a row. So we could go ahead. Sorry. Ooh. Excuse me. Does Apex have a scalping rule? Is it 10 seconds? No? What? You can do that? You can be in a trade for half a second. Interesting. My average trade on Lucid is like 7 minutes. 8 minutes. I think my shortest one's like 20 seconds, and that's just because I added in and then got stopped out of it. How have you been doing since you haven't been adding into losing positions? Good. So then we're averaging down. I haven't averaged into a red position for, well, as I say that, we did yesterday, but I was on an eval, so it's okay. But I haven't averaged on the funded account. I haven't averaged into a red position in, I want to say like 6 to 8 weeks, maybe even longer. Mm-hmm. So they're all under a minute, minus the losing trade. Yeah. What I'm going to do is move it 25 points behind. And then if I'm in one MNQ, I'm going to move it 50 points behind. That's what I'm going to trail. So we just got the retracement that I was looking for. I'm not going to take it because this 83% right here. And we still have 26 minutes for the IB to form. I'm not going to front run it that early. I am still looking for that previous day's high. If we end up missing this trade right here, I think Frenchie's looking for an entry right here at, let's see. Yeah, he's looking for an entry at London highs. Oh, he would have already gotten it. Never mind. I read that wrong. We're overdue a loss because this is over 8% over what the average is on a pull-up. Sometimes I just don't take it if the average is looking like this. The average for over last 6 months, 73%, 72%. I will say that these were sitting at 75% prior to the last 2 weeks. And I think the reasoning for that is because in the past 2 weeks, we've had 3 trading days where the IB hasn't even broken. And we've had a handful of days where the IB's read wrong as well. Like Tuesday last week, that was a pretty rough one on Qs. But Friday last week, we never broke the IB. We had another one on that Monday broke it. We had another no break on Friday, December 19th. We had another no break on Monday, December 15th. So in the past 2 weeks, we've had 3 days where there hasn't been a break of the IB, whereas the past year, we've had only 2 trading days where the IB hasn't broken. So we're up to 5 now, but it just goes to show how rough the past 2 weeks have been. Pretty nice wick put in. If we can hold that previous day's 50, it should bounce up nicely right here. Still not going to take an entry quite yet. I don't think it's really all that worth it to go in or rush in right now. $620, previous day's 50 is $620.80 on the dot. Pretty much where that gap fill was. I would not be surprised if we went and made a new IB low, or I've seen this a handful of times as well. We hold the IB high, but price goes all the way down to like 619.72. And then we have the 1030 candle close, and it very quickly wicks and takes that low. I would not be surprised if that wouldn't happen, but I'm not all that keen on taking much right now. So we're actually 10% over what the average is for Tuesday. So it's definitely overdue a loss. Might be a no trade. Get rid of that. We have too many stats all lining up in the opposite direction with each other. SPY is another one as well. SPY's, it is lined up with Qs. It's just not as high of a win rate for a Tuesday on that inside bar or initial bounce. It's 50-50 right here. And we covered the same thing last Tuesday as well. It's not a very likely stat, or it's not a very significantly, what's the word I'm going for? Statistically significant. There we go. Jeez, that was bad. It's pretty much 50-50 on a Tuesday for SPY. Qs is a little bit better, but Qs is also showing that it's overdue a loss for a Tuesday. And then if we go to the screener as well, the screener is showing a big old Christmas tree right now. Right here. And it's pretty much 50-50 split. It's 19% versus 14%, but 67% neutral. We've had a pretty even split in breakup and breakdowns, breakout and breakdowns. So Amazon breakout, Avgo breakout, no breakout on Apple. This is for the orb, by the way. Breakdown on Costco, NVDA, Qs, and SPY. So it's split almost right down the middle. And again, SPY is pretty much a 50-50 on the IB stat. Pretty nice rejection at previous days 50 actually on SPY. And then Qs 83% as opposed to the 73% average. Asia has been so much. Asia session. Yeah, I can never say that. I try to avoid saying that. Asia has been so much better for the past 2 weeks. Maybe because they don't celebrate. Oh my gosh, I can't talk today. Maybe because they don't celebrate Christmas and New Year's the same way we do. So they're not really caring about the liquidity in the market. But we've been having, aside from last night was not very good on M&Q unless you were up at 1 in the morning. Oh, that was actually 2 days ago. Never mind. Yeah, it was terrible today. But gold last night and gold the night before was incredible. Previous days 50 on M&Q is, if you're using M&Q to draw the previous days 50, you guys are making me go back to Lucid. Q's 4 a.m. candle measures from 1 a.m. to 4 a.m. in the morning. So if you're drawing that previous day's 50 on M&Q, you use the 1 a.m. high or low all the way up until open, or whatever the high or low of the day was. So as you can see, that 1 a.m. high, 115 was our high yesterday. And this is another reason I use it on Qs, because it just simplifies it. There's too much nonsense on M&Q trying to chart it. Right now, that would be our previous day's 50, and it lines up decently well with what Qs looks like. It's still off by quite a bit, but it's a little bit better than if you're trying to measure it from yesterday's high to low, and then it ends up looking like that. It's pretty nasty. They're pretty much right at the same level. But again, you're better off doing it on Qs and then going and trading on M&Q, I think, just for this strategy, because it is developed by myself. That's how I want to trade it. We might get that second outcome here, which would be fulfilling the loss on the IB, because it is overdue a loss. And I do think we have 3 minutes left in this candle. It's very possible that we stay like this right until that IB is taken or closed, and then we go and take the low after only being a couple cents away from it. I've seen this a handful of times. If we go and make a new low, SPY needs to also go and take that new low for us to contemplate this. But if we go and take a new low, then we're going to look for a retest back up to IB 50 and then down. But I am actually leaning towards price staying right here for the next 15 minutes. I'm not really looking to take a long right now, unless it somehow gets all the way back over both London 50 and previous days 50. I think it's likely that it will stay like this on the 5 minute and then end up just kind of melting down to the IB low. It could also do what it did yesterday and just take absolutely forever to go and break the IB high. It did get to about 70% of the IB yesterday and then went and took the low, so it might do the same thing today, but still have 16 minutes left on it until it's formed. So no rush to get into anything right now. At least Bitcoin's getting a really nice move. What is going on with those arrows? Looks weird. I covered this in one of the YouTube videos I put out, and I cover it quite often in here as well. Anytime this is over My rule of thumb is 8%. If it will load here, there we go. My rule of thumb is 8%. So if it's 8% over what the average is for the past 6 months on that weekday, so Tuesday's reading 83%. The average that we just looked at was 73, which that's 10% over. Then it's overdue a loss. And we either don't take it or we inverse the stat. More than often, just don't take it. This 50% is like discount premium. The reason I have London 50 and previous days 50 came from T-Trades, so that was not my finding. He used that for daily bias. So if price was over previous days 50, it's bullish for the day. If price is under, it's bearish. I looked at it for a couple of months and then realized that price likes to react at either that previous day's 50, and then I started using London 50 as well, just measuring the pre-market session. It hasn't really worked that well for the past couple of weeks. I'm blaming it on Christmas and New Year's, so hopefully it starts working again in January. Yesterday it had a pretty good reaction. Roland tells me that it works pretty well in the 5-minute, but I refuse to go down to the 5-minute for entries on that. I've been faked out one too many times. But it's still, yesterday it worked pretty well for London 50 on that 5-minute rejection. And then today, somewhat the same on the 5-minute for longs, not really for shorts. We have 15 minutes for the IB here. I think it's going to stay right where it is right now and then go down. So let's see how accurate we can get this. I think at most we're going to get a move up to 620.20 and then slowly chop down and then go all the way to previous day's low. But this will probably be stretched out a lot more. I highly doubt we get this all by 1040. So it will probably be something like this for the entire afternoon session. And then right into that noon candle, we'll have a move like that. That's what I'm going to be expecting. And now we might inverse all the way back up, but I'm not really keen on taking it long today. This is pretty nasty. Just joined. Did I long? No, I did not. Ooh, thank you for that, Mike. SPY made a new IB low. Q's did not, so we're definitely not taking it today then, unless Q's goes and takes a new IB low. I'm learning from my mistake from last Tuesday and not last Tuesday on SPY and Q's. SPY went and took a new, Q's went and took a new low. SPY did not. SPY dragged it all the way up to the IB high break. And it took Q's with it. 12 minutes left. Probably just going to watch this one for today. We could take an IB low. Like if price gets back up to 50% or London 50, we could take a short and target the reversion to the mean. This should be reading somewhere between like 75 and 78 max, much like how Q's is reading 20 and 75 stat. The reason this doesn't add up to 100 is because Tuesday, what was it? December 16th was one of those days that we didn't have the IB break. Price ended up staying within it. Just been trading on my own using London 50, previous day's high, previous day's mid, and previous day's low. I haven't been trading IB for months. You're usually done long before I take the IB trade. But you also just aim for, you do the same that Steve does. You aim for like 50 to a $200 profit for the day. Right? And then you lock out. Most of the time you're done at like 9:45, I've noticed. 120 on the day, 104. There you go. The slippage is that bad? $20 off? Oh, you have separate days for each. Yeah, Rocky, I'll check that for you right now. I think it's going to go and take that IB low. I don't think it's going to fulfill the IB high stat for today. We have 10 minutes left on it. Mm. Yep. All right. No, I won't be live tomorrow. Tomorrow, I mean, we could go live in the morning tomorrow, but it closes at 1. And if you go and take a look at, it was Christmas Eve, so maybe there was a little holiday spirit in that. Christmas Eve, it worked pretty well for the IB. High was forming, went right back down to 50, and then took the IB high and continued all the way to like 1 standard deviation. Yeah, that's what Lucid did. So if you guys are, sorry, I cut you off there. If you guys are planning on trading tomorrow, most brokerages are going to combine Wednesday and Thursday since they're 2 half days. So if you are going for a $50 profit day or 100, whatever your minimum trading day requirement is, they're probably going to combine it. Tradevate is going to combine it. Apex is going to combine the 2 days. Lucid on Tradevate is going to combine it. I think Project X, they might not. I'm not sure. I mean, you shouldn't really be trading on a half day before a holiday anyway. See ya. Have a good rest of your day. Right. It's a good thing if we get a reversion back down. It's not really a stat that we want to ride all the way up to 90%. The reason that I found this was because we fell into this trap where I took several plays where it was saying, hey, it's a 90% chance that we go and break the high or the low. You go and take it, and then price ends up running all the way to the opposing direction. And then you see the stat go right back down to what it should be for an average. So this just means that we've been on a run for too many Tuesdays in a row anyway. So if it ends up being a loss and we avoid it, I would count that as a win. Or we could even inverse the stat and try to target down to the low. If you did want to enter it right now, like let's say I just took the entry at 619.60, then that would give you a really nice risk reward on the trade. Your stop loss would be the IB low, which is at 25,673. Your take profit would be up 70 points to the IB high. Another reason I don't want to take it today is because we have a pretty nasty divergence on Qs and SPY. Last time that this happened was Tuesday last week, and that was December 23rd. SPY ended up taking the IB high. Qs did not. Qs made a new IB low, so we were targeting the low on Qs and then it ended up inversing. Could I please explain my risk management for 25K accounts? So these 25K accounts, once they're funded, I'm going to trade them a little bit differently. Lucid, the max that I go, used to be 1 MNQ. It's up to 2 just because of how slow and sluggish the recent movement has been. 2 MNQ is what I would, 2 micros on anything is what I would max out at. I don't think there's much of a reason to trade more than that. And then what I do, this is what I tell everyone as well, this is a mistake that I've made countless times over. If you have 2 losses on the day, I still make this mistake here and then. If you have 2 losses on the day, that's my daily loss limit. I don't have a fixed dollar amount on the daily loss limit. 2 losses, and then I'm done for the day. The reason being, after 2 losses, you're not trading to just trade anymore. You're trading to recover your losses. So if you have 2 losses and you're down, let's say 300 on the day, you're not really aiming to have a profitable trade after that. You're aiming to retrace that 300 that you lost. So my risk on the 25K accounts is after 2 losses, I'm done. I risk about $150 to $100 per trade. So anywhere, I haven't been averaging into losing trades anymore. Aside from the one that we had yesterday, and that was on an eval. I haven't been averaging in on the funded accounts. It's not likely that when you average into a losing trade that it's going to reverse for you, because that trade on its own is a completely separate trade. The first one you entered, usually a 1-to-1 risk reward. The second trade that you enter is usually like a 1-to-2 or 1-to-4. Your stop loss is a lot tighter. Your take profit's a lot wider. It's not often that it goes and retraces all the way back in the direction that you're looking for. We have 3 minutes for the IB now, and it's looking like it's going to fulfill that little jumble of arrows that I drew. That would have been a pretty good entry at London 50 right there. Actually, would have been a really good entry. Get maybe another retrace up there. I still think it's going to do something like this. And then just kind of melt through that IB low all the way to noon. Apex copier glitches sometimes when I combine brokers. That's why I don't want to use Trade Syncer, because I've seen so many horror stories from it. Trade Syncer and wherever the other one is. Not the built-in copier on TradeAway. I think that one I've had a little slippage on. Not too bad. But I've seen people that use Trade Syncer that ended up taking like one account that makes $400 and it never closes it on their remaining accounts. So you see one that's up 400 and the rest of them end up down like 200 on the day because you don't go and check it. That's why I just do whatever the built-in trade copier is. So I use the one on Project X and I use the different tabs on TradeAway and Project X. He used to DCA so much. I don't know if you were here for this yesterday, Roland. I took that 2MNQ trade on Apex, and I didn't know that it was going to bombard me with every account filling, but I did not like that noise at all. That was not enjoyable. Where I said order filled 8 times within the same second, but it was delayed enough for me to hear each individual order filled. I did not like it. as opposed to Project X just saying order failed. Kowalski, my stop loss is ranging from 20 to 60 points. No reason to go with fixed contract size. I'd rather adjust my contract size to roughly risk 10% of the total drawdown. If that works for you, great. Keep doing it. Keep on keeping on. I'm just saying that's what I do. I stay with the same size and then have the same risk. What I have done on the Lucid accounts, let's see if I can pull this up. I should be able to. I don't think it's going to have any information on here that doesn't need to get seen. Let's see. A few details. What I've been doing with the Lucid accounts is pretty much just keeping them right above where the drawdown, or not the drawdown, the buffer is. The buffer is at 26.1. And then the buffer's at 27.1. So you need to be above 27.1 to take the payout. I've just been keeping it right about at 27,100. These are all my trading days for the month. So I bought them, I believe I bought them November 28th. I bought them for their Black Friday sale, and the accounts were like $65 a piece. And then it took me 13 trading days to pass it. It took me 5 trading days to get the payout. Technically 6 because Project X went down on the 16th and they did delete a day. And then obviously Christmas closed, nothing probably tomorrow. Just got 50 on Christmas Eve. All right, so our IB is formed. You guys can rewind a little bit on the YouTube video. We formed well below, or closed well below the IB 50. I'm not going to be looking to retrace it all the way up. SPY is about to take its IB low. Qs should also get dragged down and have a reversion to the mean, meaning that this 83%, if we have a loss today on the IB stat, this 83% will go back down to 78%, maybe down to 76%. And then we can definitely take longs next Tuesday or whenever it pops up again. But for right now, I'm not going to be looking to inverse it all the way back up. If it goes up, great. If you guys want to enter longs right now, your stop loss is going to be 20 points, which is 25,673 for the IB low, and your take profit would be 25,774. So 80-point long, or 80-point reward versus a 20-point stop, 1 to 4 risk reward. I'm going to just be sitting out because we have a divergence on SPY and Qs for the IB stat. I do think it's going to do this nasty little just melt down and then go all the way down to previous day's low. SPY is a lot closer to previous day's low as well, and these inside bar stats both need to be fulfilled. Let's see. Edgeful did just add. I feel so blessed for this. Edgeful added my IB stat in. IB ending zone above or below the midpoint, which is where my entries are. So it's below the midpoint right now for the IB high getting taken, which again would have a very skewed risk reward. You'd have a 4 reward as opposed to 1 risk. We don't have any stats on this for a Tuesday. It is a brand new thing that they just added, so it's not going to be very accurate quite yet, but we'll see after today what happens. I'm anticipating a break of the low. I want to see this get retraced back down to 78%, then we can take it next week. Next Tuesday if the low gets formed first. Do I wait for any retracement before the break? So let's say that we had taken a new low on this 10-10 candle. If I were looking to go short right now, I would want to see price go up to 50% of the IB and then go short. That's what I would want to see. But for right now, the IB high formed second, the IB low formed first, meaning that we would technically be targeting the high. I'm not taking anything because we have divergence on SPY and Qs, and we're overdue a loss, which it's playing out pretty damn well right now. What's going on, Market Robber? Are you in a trade right now? I am not. I am not. Probably going to be nothing today. Unless, no, there's no reason to trade gold. I'm not going back to that little hell spawn. So gold's IB stat. Ugh. Gross. High form first, low form second. We have a 50-50 chance of taking the high or the low. If you like gambling, if you like to gamba, pick your poison, high or low on SPY, on Q, sorry. High or low on gold, 50-50 chance. And we are about 40 cents away on Qs right now. SPY might have just taken its low. SPY did take its low. Equal low, or did it take it? Low 686.75, equal lows. I don't know if that counts. I know it has to break it by a penny, but I don't know if equal lows counts. Let me ask Andre real quick. From Lucid and Apex, do you have any promo codes? No, I am not affiliated with any prop firms. I have no interest in being affiliated with any. Unless they want to offer me like $100,000, because I will sell out for that kind of money. I will. But for right now, I'm not affiliated with any, no. Well, thank you, Market Rubber. Great guy. I love your content. Thank you very much. Should I wait to buy should I wait to buy the account on discount for Apex or Lucid? They're pretty, Apex and Lucid are pretty much always on sale. SPY just went and took its IB low. So Qs, I mean, there's a chance that it might go and take the high. And again, if you did want to enter right now, it would be a 1-to-4 risk reward. Or 4-to-1. No, 1-to-4, I said it right. So you'd be risking 20 points to make 80 points on this. I will not be taking it. So I'll type this out. Pretty nasty divergence. SPY and Qs. Same exact thing. So I'll probably trade Asia tonight, just because it's been so much cleaner on gold and M&Q especially. Yuck. It's gross. What I will end up doing on Apex is if I don't pass the accounts prior to the rebill, I'm not going to let them get rebilled because it will rebill at like $90 a month. So I'm just going to go and YOLO them. I got all of these I got the first two for $38. And then these 6 I got for 19. So it's cheaper to go and blow it and cancel the subscription than it is to let it rebill. Even if I'm decently close to passing it, I'll do the same thing. Just from a money perspective, or money standpoint. Well, wonderful price action we're having here, huh? If it ends up following this path perfectly, that would be something else. I think I drew it back here originally. So we'll see. It's off a little bit right now. If it ends up going and taking the high, I'll tip my hat to it. SPY should pretty easily, and this is another reason I don't want to take an inversion on Qs. SPY should pretty easily go and take the IB low, or not IB low, I already took it, the inside bar low, because that's a 76% chance likelihood that it does. Sorry, that's on gold. Still a 79% chance that it does on SPY. So it should pretty easily go down to 686.07. I think we got a fulfillment on, if that inside bar stat breaks, then we had everything. We had 3 for 3 break today. We had our gap fill, which is what we were looking for after PMI. Didn't play it, obviously. We had the IB stat that we were looking for a reversion to the mean on, which hopefully it gets it right now. And then the inside bar stat, which will be down to 618.72. Be a pretty good day. Even though we didn't take any trades, we just validated everything that we use day to day. Yeah, 18 minutes left. So we are about 40 cents away right now, just below 40 cents away from taking the low. If SPY gets a closure here, then we can pull up the standard deviations, which I think it's pretty likely that we probably go down to half standard deviation. That would be just below the inside bar stat. And then we'll have price probably do something like that for the rest of the day and then close wherever. I don't know. Pretty nasty bear flag on Qs right now as well in the 5-minute. What's going on, Wall Dive? How you doing? Good to see you. Oh, that's what I was gonna look at. I wonder if my trade went through on MSTX again. Let's see. Nope. Not quite yet. What's the data for today on the first hour, 9:30 to 10:30? The day will be bearish, something like that. That's the opening candle continuation, and that one was also lit up like a Christmas tree, meaning that it's not valid because we are at a almost perfect split. Apple's bullish, Amazon's bullish. If we go and pull those up, Tesla's also bullish right now. The reason those are showing bullish is because of this is the gap fill stat, which we did fulfill on Qs and SPY, so it's a bullish read. And then these are all, I mean, this is almost perfectly split on SPY and Qs. Said we had both a breakout and a breakdown, which double breaks are usually pretty low in the stat as well. And we've only had 2 breaks in the IB so far, bearish on both Netflix and SPY. And then everything else is lit up like Christmas tree. But the report that you're looking for is the opening candle continuation. That one I don't really use all that much anymore. We can find it here. Initial bounce by rejection, opening candle continuation right here. I don't have it bookmarked because I don't use it. And this is for the first 60 minutes. I think that candle closed red probably. Yeah. Let's see. We closed green, so we should have a green day. I don't know. It's everything's pointing in different directions, so it's not anything that I want to go and take. Oh, my drawing is coming to fruition. Amazon, it says, should be bullish as well. I mean, everything's nasty right now. It's gross. Gross, gross, gross. Must be nice to be done for the day, Roland, huh? You want to see my Tradeify account from last night? I took NQ position. Balls to the walls on Tradeify last night. 11:43. A decent day. Those ones I'm rushing on because they're removing Project X and so they remove purchases to it, but I would bet that they remove those accounts within the next couple of weeks. And I don't want to be stuck trading 2 sets of accounts on Tradeivate. So I just want to rush to get the second payout on those. We've had, in the past 30 minutes, we've moved 2 cents. 3 cents now. Point-wise, the past 30 minutes, 45 minutes actually, we have moved 2 points as well. Kind of at a stalemate here. SPY wants to drag Qs down, I believe, and Qs wants to drag SPY up. So they're both tugging on each other in opposing directions. And then again, going over to the screener on edgeful, these are all It's lit up like a Christmas tree. And that was one of the first things that Andre said to me was, if it looks like a Christmas tree, it means don't trade it. It looks like a Christmas tree. I think the analogy he had was it's likely Christmas, meaning that no one's looking to trade it. And that is exactly what we're looking at right now. Green and red split right down the middle, almost right down the middle. We're very slightly bullish, but this is still sub 50%. It's not looking clean at all. It might push all the way back up. We'll see. I still think it's going to go down. My drawing's off. SPY was a pretty gross stat. 50-50 on SPY. And then 83%, which isn't real. It shows that Tuesdays are on a streak for it right now. I would be very shocked if it goes and takes the high. I might take a short here. Probably not. If it does end up wanting to go and fulfill the stat, great. But learning my lesson from last week, last Tuesday especially. Right now would be a decent opportunity to go short. It's right at 50% of the IB. If it does end up going all the way back up, then that would have been a phenomenal risk. It's up 30 points from where that entry would have been several times. That's still nothing right now. Nothing for me anyway. That would be quite the inversion if it does go all the way back up, though. Let's see what gold was. Gold was a 50-50 for today. Hasn't broken it quite yet. That's a terribly small range on gold, too. How do I do? Let me see. H6. Where's the H contract? I guess G6 is fine. That's a really teeny tiny move on gold. So if it does go and take the low, it's going to be, I guess that's not too bad, 14 points. And the high is up at 4407, so 16 points. 14. It's not too bad. I'll be a little upset if it goes to the high just for missing how good the risk reward was on it, but mistrade isn't too bad. I already got my profit for Lucid and Tradeify, and this is just on Apex. The $50 a day you mentioned woke me up. 50 to 100 a day times 15 funded, and 750 to 1500 a day is all I need to get a full-time trader next year. I'll also be working on getting more Apex to 20. It's pretty mind-blowing thinking about it, isn't it, Roland? So if you have 20 funded Apex accounts and you do $50 a day, it will take you 30 trading days, which is just under 2 months. I think it's 6 weeks, right? 6 full weeks anyway. So more than likely than not, with a 75% win rate, you'll be at 2 months on the dot. And that's a $30,000 payout from aiming for $50 a day. And some days obviously are going to be less, some days are going to be more. But if you aim for 50, it's pretty easy to get. And then some days, let's say you get 80 to 100 for that day, then that cuts off 10% of the time that it would take you to get that payout, which is pretty crazy. So I am wrong right now and expecting the low to break. I did not. It would have been nice if this happened last week. If you guys remember last Tuesday's stream, I was in longs, or I was in shorts on Qs, and I was expecting SPY to just take its high and then Qs to do what it's doing right now. Last week, Qs did not do that. Qs just continued pushing to the high, ended up getting stopped out for, I think it was like a 240 loss on Apex. So for today, of course, we're not doing the same thing. SPY is getting dragged right back up by Qs. I don't think right now is too bad of a short entry, but that would be inversing the data. I think it's just as good of a play to not take anything. Sorry, this is a repeat question, but once in a trade and trade of 8, can we move the blue line, or is that setting the move stop loss or break even or scale it? The blue line is your entry on trade of 8, and then your stop loss, you have to go and reset it as far as I'm aware. If I wanted to put, let's say I wanted to put an order in right here for sell 16, you can drag it up and down that way, but you can't drag, like on Project X, how it lets you drag from your position that you're in to set the stop loss. It doesn't let you do that on trade of 8, unless I'm just doing it wrong. I don't think it lets you. No, we end up pushing right back up. It's looking a lot better to take a long right now. The long on Qs would end up making SPY have a double break for the day. It's taking Bitcoin up with it at least as well, which I kind of like to see. This is probably going to be as simple as a no trade day for me. Called it accurate until I didn't. I did not expect us to push up like we are right now. SPY and Qs are somewhat lined back up again. That would have been a really, really good risk reward. This would be a 50-point trade right here. Have you tried linking your trade of 8 to TradingView? You can see the trades. Yeah, but you can't copy trade on trade of 8 doing that, right? That's what Steve told me. If I wanted to go and link it to TradingView, I can't copy trade it. So I would just trade one account and wouldn't trade all 8. Oh, I gotcha. What I'm going to try doing when I do take trades on trade of 8, and this is going to be months from now once we're not trading on Project X anymore, I'm going to do this with the long and short position. So when I enter the trade, I'll go down to the 5-minute, I'll put it in on the long and short, so you can see it that way. I think that would be beneficial. How you doing, Hars? So you can destroy. I miss Project X, not going to lie. Very easy to use. Trade of 8 is too much for me right now. Hopefully we'll get used to it soon. Luckily, I didn't do my charting on Project X. The only thing that's changed for me is which tab I go and open to take the trade. But I I agree completely. Tradevate sucks. Tradevate's awful. I hate it. We got another couple minutes here. Does look like we're going to take the high, which tip my hat to it, as I said. Not too much we can do about that. Yesterday, if we do end up lining up with data, I wouldn't go and chase this to the upside. It should end up getting a pullback before breaking it, I would think. I don't think it's going to have that clean of a break. If it does, so be it. If anyone happened to take the trade down there, that was a 1-4. Sorry. 1-4 risk reward. So you're risking 20 points to the IB low. It got within 5 points of the IB low. So almost took it. And then the reward would have been 80 points up to the upside. And here's the pullback I was mentioning. Might get a little bit lower. But I think I'm just going to sign off there. I don't think I'm going to take anything. Might take a long. Well, yeah, we'll see. More than likely just done. If you want to copy trade all your trades together, Tradevate plus Project X, you need to copy your trade singer. Well, what I usually do, Ashley, is I'll have loose it up. When I haven't had much luck trading all of them at the same time, but what I will do for the accounts is I will have them traded like this. So I'll have all of them. I need to lock out this before I forget. I'll have 3 tabs open and I'll just go one after another. Usually I'm in with a limit order, so it doesn't have slippage that way. If I did want to do market orders, then that's an issue, but that's usually what I do. The reason I don't use trade sinkers or haven't used trade sinkers is because I get a little spooked by them malfunctioning. All right, well, looks like I was just wrong for the IB stat today. I shouldn't have inversed you, my baby. You've never let me down. Just let me down last Tuesday, but it's besides the point. We won't talk about that when we're doing our reviews. Replicanto, yeah, that's another one. That's what Leo uses. I think it was like a $250 or $500 one-time payment. But he's still had issues with it too. He hasn't had any accounts get blown, thankfully, but a couple of months ago he had, I think it was because he was copy trading on Project X, and it might have been when Project X went down, so maybe that's the culprit, but he entered a trade and it didn't take it on any of his other accounts. So he ended up only making 200 times one account as opposed to making whatever it is, $800 times 50 accounts. He was pretty upset about it. All right, that will do it for today. I'm probably not going to touch anything. I mean, the risk reward for taking longs now is skewed. If it does pull back, great. 620.54 and then go long. Feel a little upset that I missed it. I guess we should have taken it. Shoulda, coulda, woulda. Hindsight 2020. But that will do it for today. See you tomorrow. See you Friday. No live tomorrow, no live Thursday. I might be live tomorrow. We'll see. We'll see you come tomorrow morning. How price is doing pre-market. Right, see you guys later. And then as for the YouTube stream, everything else. For the IB report over 5 years, I don't use it. And the main reason here, and this might be controversial, I don't think data over a year old matters. The market adapts every single year. If you're looking at stats from 5 years ago, not really much of a point in doing that. If you're looking at stats from 6 months ago, that's relevant to the market conditions that you're trading at the moment. So those ones are valid. That's why I always stay on the 6-month time frame. It mainly just has to do with the fact that you're looking at what you want to be trading for this current market. You don't want to be looking at how the market was trading back in 2020 because that was a completely different environment. And then something else to add in with that, back in 2020, we were in quantitative easing, and then we switched to quantitative tightening in 2021, which we've been in up until December 1st of this month, this year. So it's a completely different market that we've been trading for the past 3 years as opposed to right now. So for the next couple of months, we're going to be in a learning phase where the market's trying to figure out how it's going to trade for whatever period of time. That's just something to add in. All right, guys, hopefully you enjoyed the stream. I thought it was pretty good. Even though we didn't take a trade, we ended up doing pretty well on the predictions, validating what we were doing for trading. Obviously, I was wrong coming into this IB trade. Should have taken longs down there. Did not. We avoided a win. At the same time, we also avoided a potential loss. Hindsight 2020. If you guys enjoyed the stream, make sure to drop a follow. Thumbs up. I will see you guys next Tuesday. I will not be live again until next Tuesday. Tomorrow's a half day. Thursday is obviously closed. Friday, I'll probably be live. I might be live in the Discord tomorrow or Friday. We'll see. Mr. ZincX is my Twitter. So if you guys want to go and give that a follow, that's where you can find more of me. But I will see you guys later. Have a great rest of your day. Have a great New Year's Eve. See you next year. Oh, that was so cheesy. So cheesy.